Well, I'm going to crack open one of these.
Yeah, go for it. Like I said, it's pretty damn mild. I don't know if you like it, but I thought, well.
Who knows? But we can talk about it.
We can talk about it.
You can just open it if you don't want to tear it.
He could have just opened it.
Yeah.
Oh. It's got the little spot to tear.
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah.
I wonder how I got it open the first time.
Right?
Huh.
But you're right. It does just open.
That's all right.
Tear it the rest of the way.
See, my kids do the same thing. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be plain as day. Open here and show you the little zipper thing. Yeah. They will never do it. They'll tear it every single time.
And he's much nicer than I would have been. I would have said the discount on cigars.
Right?
Well, that does
Care
help.
less about you people. I get discounted cigars. You people are just a bonus, I guess. Just for our female viewers and Dr. Bush, what's going on with the flavored cigars?
Eating? What are you drinking?
What did Kevin not eat?
Right. What did he leave behind? I don't know.
I didn't eat. I gotta smoke something mild.
Oh, we don't.
Well, welcome to the Smokey Guys. I'm CR Parsons. I'm one of the Smokey Guys.
I'm your other smart-ass Smokey guy, Kevin Price.
And we have a great guest with us this evening. Somebody who probably has forgotten more about cigars than either of us know. Mr. Jeff, introduce yourself.
How's it going? Jeff, manage Classic Cigars downtown Tulsa. Been friends with these guys for several years and excited to be invited on here. So hoping to just have some fun and smoking bullshit, right?
That's pretty much what we do.
Okay, perfect. It's just like being at work.
Exactly. Well, our goal with this podcast was to kind of put people in a seat at the table around having cigars, because we find that some fascinating conversations happen around cigars. So you gifted me a cigar for this episode. I know this is a Rocky. What is Old World?
Old World Reserve, the original release that came out in 2006. So it's about 17 years that I've had those.
Oh, wow.
That's the Corojo wrapper. They had a Maduro as well. I don't remember if it was Costa Rican or what. I can't quite recall. But I've gotten a box of each back at my old cigar shop when they first shipped. They were a fantastic cigar, and then they went away for many years, and he's come back several times, at least once or twice with it. Obviously, the blends changed, price points have changed, but that first round, much like the original Edge, was a special cigar. Very good.
Yeah.
But I said after that many years of aging, they'll be pretty mellow. So hopefully there's a little flavor left to it. But.
Well, we talked about that recently on one of our podcasts about aging cigars.
We sure did. We didn't smoke anything quite this old, so.
No, not quite this aged.
This will be quite the treat.
In fact, it was kind of funny when we were doing a little bit of research for that one, because they considered anything aged over, 3 or 4 years to be very aged. Now, how old of cigars do you have in your humidor?
My oldest probably date back to around 96, 97.
Mm-hmm.
So those would be ones that were gifted to me. My oldest cigars would be around 2001, 2002.
So about 20 years?
Yeah, I've got... Yeah, and some Bahia's Millenniums from 99. So those are fantastic right now, still, after 23, 24 years of age.
Wow. See, I have trouble holding on to cigars that long.
Yeah.
I just want to smoke them all. If they're halfway decent, I just want to smoke them. I can't just let them sit.
You just got to forget about them. Put them in a bag, put them somewhere, and leave them alone.
That's the kind of way he treats his kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Put it back and forget about them.
No kids were harmed in the making of this.
Totally.
Did they mellow over time too?
Don't send anybody over to his house because he actually doesn't have kids at home. It's okay.
My kids have mellowed over the years. Either that or I have, one of the two. Either I've relaxed or they've learned to chill.
Or drugs have just gotten better.
That could be the case
Be
too.
a lot of it. So, do me a favor, because on the introduction, I noticed you didn't say your last name. Can you tell folks your last name?
Sure, Jeff Greiner. So.
Well, that's the way I would pronounce
Yeah.
it. But you could look at it and you could take his name.
Greiner.
You can really pretty it up. And
As Oliva Paul would say, Paul Costo.
Or you could
Greiner.
put in consonants that aren't even there.
Yeah.
Did people do that to you quite a bit? Like, hey, Jeff Greiner, how you doing?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
Well, I'll leave that for you.
Okay, I'll do that all the time now.
I have accidentally said Jeff Granger before.
See, you put the consonant in.
Yeah, I added a G.
How many scotches in was that?
At least 2.
Yeah.
Of my pours.
Yeah.
You got single, double, and a CR.
And a full fist. Oh.
Now, before we started, I asked you what you were smoking, but tell them what you're smoking.
So I am smoking my only sample of the Aladino. It's one of their special editions that I got at our trade show in Vegas in July. This is getting ready to ship, I believe, next week. So I should have some boxes coming. So I wanted to see how it was, so I know if I want to leave any for you guys or if I want to take them all home, because I only got 3 boxes
There you
coming,
go.
hopefully.
Or if they're all sold. By the
Yeah,
time they
exactly.
Get to
So-
the shop.
This is their Sumatra wrapper, which they have not used yet.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm a big fan of Sumatra wrappers. The Leaf by Oscar Sumatra is a great favorite of mine.
Right, we're in the flight path again.
Yeah.
I thought you were laughing at Sumatra rappers, because I was like, it's funny, I listen to rap, and I've never heard of a rapper from Sumatra. I mean, I've listened to a lot of things in my life. Maybe I'm just out of the loop here.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of those Sumatran wrappers because they have great flavor.
A lot of them do.
And they're a great cigar to hand somebody that's not a big cigar smoker.
Oscar definitely has several good ones. The new 2012 definitely was a good addition to that line.
Mm-hmm.
So, besides the regular Leaf, but
That anniversary Leaf is a really good smoke.
yes, that new Leaf was in my top 3 new cigars this year. That Criollo he's got is fantastic on that cigar, no doubt. I need to find out if that's a special edition or if it's constant stock. So, but yeah, definitely tasty. Definitely need to try it if you haven't tried it. So, and if you like Aladino, I'm going to do a selfless plug here.
Go
just
for it.
because we have to. We have an event on the 26th, I believe. That's that Thursday at the end of the month.
Okay, this should come out before then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will save them for the event so everyone gets a chance to get them. So yeah, Thursday the 26th, Justo Arroyo, the owner of Aladino JRE Cigars, will be flying in from Florida for it.
Oh, nice.
So it's been several years since he's been able to do an event with us. We had him, I think, around 2018 and 19 or something. We had him a couple of years in a row.
Yeah.
So it'll be good to have Justo back, and we're going to have a lot of cigars and some cool raffles, and the usual, we're going to be doing a Heaven's Door flight.
Okay.
So on the whiskey side.
A little Bob Dylan whiskey.
With Bob Dylan. So yeah, it's going to be a fun event.
Well, it will be. That will be. Now, wasn't Aladino the Lancero that you got that you liked so much?
That was the first Lancero I ever had, and Jeff recommended it, and that's what got me into Lanceros. And now it's just a thing that I typically will search out and try to, get a feel for, and if I can find one I haven't had now, and do that. And the other night, when you and I went over to a bachelor party over in Ozark, Missouri.
Ozark,
it's
Missouri.
really hard to say for some reason.
Across the street from Lambert's, home of the Throwed Roll.
Yeah, exactly. A buddy
Is
of
that a
ours.
kinky name?
You're looking at me with a blank stare.
Or they actually take rolls
They
and
take
toss them.
rolls.
They-
The restaurant
Yes,
that you told me
Yes,
about.
yeah,
Yeah,
where they actually throw rolls at you. It's,
Yeah, the guy usually wears like a baseball hat. Like last time I was there, it was for the Yankees.
Now, if
and
I
he
open my-
literally across the room throws rolls to you.
If you open your
producer's
mouth,
wife would
will
like-
he try to make it in your mouth?
Yes.
Okay.
Our producer's wife would catch one and chunk it back. Go, take that, you little bitch. Shameless plug.
Yeah.
But no, we went over to that bachelor party, and a buddy of ours who's been on the show twice, Hank Wilhelm, he asked me to go into the humidor with him and see if I could pick out some stuff maybe he hadn't had or anything I saw that was interesting.
Actually, he just asked you to walk into the closet.
That's
but
probably what it was, yeah.
It just happened to be the humidor that was the door he chose.
But they had the LFD Double Ligero Lancero.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I got him that one. You can imagine he got buzzed pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah. They answered a strength that nobody asked for. No, I mean, it's a popular blend, but good Lord.
Yeah.
A Lancero size in that.
Yep, it's an ass kicker, that is for sure.
He
Yeah.
smoked about maybe 2/3. I think he got
that's
through it.
pretty good. I mean, it's not even their strongest cigar either.
Yeah, he got through that. I was like, oh, well, okay, well. I was hoping he'd do the whole thing. I really just wanted to see him get up and kind of stagger, and spin around.
Barf.
That's a good friend for you right there.
A few old fashions, and it was yeah, good night.
Those should come with a sugar packet to knock off the nicotine buzz.
Right.
Included, wrapped around for the band.
Well,
But
speaking
yeah.
of LFD, I had an LFD yesterday for the football game. I had one cigar for the entire football game. I promised my wife I would only smoke one cigar during the day because I knew I was going to be smoking last night.
So you had a digger?
So I had a digger.
That's good. I actually received a LFD cigar yesterday as a gift from my good buddy Paul Houston, who is from Greenwich, Connecticut. He's the one I think I've told you all about that has the lounge in his house that was featured in Cigar Aficionado.
Yes.
He's normally a big Davidoff guy, but he brought me two cigars. One is one of the Pappy Van Winkle series cigars.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've all had those, and they're
I
really
have.
good. But he brought me one of the, and I'm bad at this. You may remember when they had these out, but LFD came out with a 10-count special edition cigar case, and each of the cigars was different, and they look like the same size as a bull, same size as
It's
shape.
the Solomon sampler.
Yes.
Yeah, they're all, every wrapper's got different cutouts and designs on it. Yeah, that was
so
very
his
cool.
wife had bought him that, I guess, several years ago as a birthday present or whatever, and so since he was coming down and going to his first OU Texas game, he threw me a couple cigars in a bag and brought them, and that was one of the ones he brought me. So I'm really excited to get around to that one at some point.
Very
but
cool.
I'll probably hang on to it a while.
Yeah, smoke it, it's ready.
Is it?
I'm sure.
Well, I'm glad you're comfortable mentioning that game.
Oh yeah.
If it had gone the other way, I figured you would just avoid the
I
topic
even wore
altogether.
my hoodie. I'm there. And the best part of that game is always the ride home. Because especially, it's better when we win, obviously, because we go out and we party the day before the game, because at that point no one's lost, so we're all partying together, Texas and OU, and then you go to the game, or up to the game, everybody's still arguing about who's better. You go to the game, you sort that part out, and then after the game, the losing team goes home, or wherever they want to go, and the winning team kind of stays and parties, and you roam around. But our routine is we always get up. I like this. It's like strobe effect of lights here. Are we at a dance club?
I thought it was like a comedy show where he's lighting you to tell you enough with
Tell
the
me
story.
enough to stop telling the story. But we always have the same routine, which is we all get up about 9 o'clock. We sleep in a little bit. For the guys I run with, 9 o'clock's late for them. We sleep in a little bit, and then we always stop at your favorite place, Buc-ee's. I know you're a big Buc-ee's fan.
Oh yeah.
The nuggets and the
Hell in a handbasket.
I've seen your post. You kind of have a disdain for Buc-ee's for some reason.
Yeah. It's mainly because it's Texas.
Oh, okay.
What?
That and Owasso.
and Whataburger. Yeah, those are.
Man.
Those are my three grabs. Although last week was my lottery tickets, or having to wait in line for that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you saw that rant.
I did about the. Yes, was it the guy that?
It was a lady.
The lady? Okay, yeah.
And all the lottery tickets that were getting scanned.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like if you're not smart enough to sit there and make tick notes on them to figure out if you hit any of the numbers, do it at home. You don't have to have them run them all through. That's just a waste of everybody's time.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Especially at a convenience store.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Have you ever thought about like doing a blog or anything like on things Jeff hates?
It'd be a lot like what was it? Family Guy when what's his name's doing the what grinds my gears.
Yes.
Yeah. It'd pretty much be that.
Hey.
I'd definitely. I follow you on Facebook, so obviously I'm in. I think
Yeah.
most of us would be.
I thought about doing it for just all the whole area of Tulsa, but
Yeah.
it'd mainly feature the roads and construction.
Good starting point.
Well, around here, that'll keep you busy for what, about a year and a half?
It'd be never ending.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny whenever the Cigar brothers, because like I say, CR being a comedian, when the Cigar brothers came to town, I got voluntold to pick them up from the airport, and on that flight in, they found out that one of their friends had just passed away. So whenever they got off the flight, they were very down in the dumps. And so as we're walking to the car, I could just tell. I was like, man, these guys got to go on stage here in less than an hour, and this may not go well if they don't figure out a way to get funny in a hurry. And so I start making comments about the roads and construction and stuff like that. And over the course of that ride from the airport to downtown, I saw their whole demeanor change. And all of a sudden, that working mind started going, how can I take all of what he just said and turn it into a bit? And I'll be danged if those two guys didn't go up on stage and do almost the exact thing that we talked about in the car and made it funny. I mean, made it really hilarious.
That's the comedian mindset, is how can I make this funny? And once you get into that working mode, you can't let it go. You just can't help but riff.
So yeah, Tulsa is a joke when it comes to construction and
politics,
road hazard, and man, we could go on and on about this.
There's a lot that you could talk about of Tulsa that's a joke.
What about you? You had a interesting event at one of your shows this weekend.
Well, I had a quasi heckler. He wasn't the kind of heckler that goes, "You suck," because that's easy. You just tell him to fuck off, and
that's what we do.
Well, yeah, that's your job. I mean, you're supposed to do that. The audience isn't. But I had this guy. I was just getting into my set, and I said something about my family being from deep South Mississippi, and he goes, "Prove it." How the fuck do I prove that? I mean, if I dropped my pants, I could prove that I was Jewish.
Bring
but
out
I
your
cannot
wife
prove that I'm from Mississippi.
If they bring out your wife and introduce her as your cousin?
Exactly.
I don't know.
I mean, that's about the only way. And a few minutes later, he says it again, like he thinks it's funny again, because I said something and he goes, "Prove it." So I'm like, "That's 2, sir. 3 and you're out of here." Well, he hits 3 and I go off on him. I'm like, you cannot do that. Just so you know, I can prove this. I can prove, because it was my joke about I look like Hagrid if he got fired from Hogwarts. So I'm like, I can prove it. Everybody in the room could fucking see, so I can prove it. Not only do I look like Hagrid if he got fired from Hogwarts, I look like Hagrid if he didn't pay child support. And I went off and I just kept going and kept going and kept going until finally at the end of the set, he did it one more time. And just before they kicked him out, I had a talk with the audience about what a good audience is and what an asshole is.
So he was able to point it
and
out.
I pointed him out, and then he got kicked out of the show.
Did you tell everyone to clap for the asshole as he got escorted out?
Oh, no. I'm not giving him that kind of applause.
Okay.
But the best part of the whole thing, his date stayed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, his date didn't leave with him. I don't know if he just went and sat in the car or what, but she did not go.
She's like, "I want to see the rest of the show. I don't know what you're talking about. That $5 ticket cost me a lot of money. I'm not going anywhere."
Walking out grumbling. He's no fucking wizard.
Right. I know a wizard if I saw it.
He didn't go to Hogwarts.
He didn't know nothing.
Station 90,
9 and 3/4.
See, I am so out of the loop when it comes to Harry Potter. I tried to watch the movies, and about halfway through each movie, I fell asleep.
No.
Because it's a world I didn't know, and now at that point, I got what my parents thought of Lord of the Rings when I was reading the Lord of the Rings books when I was a kid. And I'm talking about orcs and elves and elvish and all of this stuff. And they're looking at me with glazed over eyes going, "What are you talking about?" It was a whole other world that I completely knew, understood, even spoke a little elvish. And they didn't get it. What? I said I spoke a little elvish.
Could you sing like Elvish?
Did you know the cuss words?
Thank you very much. But yeah, so I don't know that much about Harry Potter, but I do know that I look like Fat Gandalf or Hagrid if he got fired from Hogwarts, or
It's amazing how people go to shows and think they are the focus. They're the whole reason for the show to be there. And they try to make themselves a part of it.
I'm sure he thought he was being funny.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
Well, that's the same way people yell "Freebird" to us at shows.
Oh.
They think they're being freaking hilarious.
People still do that?
Oh,
God,
yeah. Every
It's
time.
awful. It is the stupidest thing. For the most part, I just ignore it. And I just go on. But yeah, and so yeah, producer Kevin loves to yell "wagon wheel." That's his new Freebird.
You might
Great
learn the
cigar.
song, then they'd stop.
I ought to just write a parody of it.
Yeah.
That would be the best thing. Write
That
a
would be.
parody of the song, like pointed at how idiotic for people it is to say that.
Yep.
It's a great idea. Thank you.
Kind of take the Bill Bailey approach to it, right?
That's right. That's right.
Kind of like
Yeah.
did the whole Inner Sandman on the horns.
Mm-hmm.
I almost thought you said Bill Bates there for a second. Safety, or the guy that played for the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really on a football kick lately.
It's okay. I thought he said Ben Bailey. I thought he was talking about catching a cab because he was already bored with
Right.
the podcast.
If I fall asleep, it'll be from the wife.
There was a steakhouse in, I think we have one here now, like Saltgrass or something. Anyway, there's the ones in Dallas did this thing where they had the like Dallas Cowboys signature steak. And so one of the radio stations that I had some buddies at, they used to go around and do live remotes. And so they would go into those steakhouses and be like, yeah, I'd like to order the Bill Bates Dallas Cowboys signature steak. And they're like, excuse me? He's like, well, you have them sign it, right? I want it signed by Bill Bates. Or can you have it signed by Michael Irvin? And the waiters are like, what the hell are you talking about? It's the signature steak.
Now, see, my first thought when you said they did signature steaks was, you can get custom branding irons for your steaks.
That would have been a great idea.
So why not have a handful of players and have their signatures in branding irons so you can brand the steak with their signature? That would be cool as hell.
Then you'd have somebody like me go in and ask for Bill Bates and demand to get Bill Bates. Of course, smart-ass cook would go back there and just write it on there with a Sharpie and
Exactly.
send it out to me. But I just think it'd be hilarious. Speaking of Dallas radio, when I was at the game this weekend, I went to the restroom, and as I'm getting in line for the restroom, I don't normally talk to anybody. I mean, that's just, you go to the restroom. Guys don't talk. We go, we do our business, we get the fuck out, right?
It's true.
I go to get in line, and like my favorite sports talk guy from Dallas steps in line in front of me. And I've listened to this guy since like '93, so it's like, how am I not going to talk to him, right? So I got to think real quick. I'm like, okay, we can only talk for so long before we get up to go to the urinals. Then it's just we got to stop. So real quick, I introduced myself. Hey, big fan. He used to work for your father-in-law.
Prove it.
Yeah,
Prove
right. Prove it. Yeah.
Give me just a second. I'll step up there, and then I can prove how big a fan I am.
We managed to cram in a really good conversation, though, in about 8 feet. And then right as a urinal opens up, he's like, peace, dude. He just takes off. Like, fair enough.
Do you have any excitement at the shop this week?
Oh, I'm sure, but mine's drawing a blank.
You're not thinking of anything?
Yeah.
Have you been been to any good concerts lately? I know you're a big music guy.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of concerts the last 2 months, 6 or 7. So, last one was Alice in Chains.
Oh yeah.
How was that? 'Cause
That was a great show.
Cantrell fan.
Yeah, I mean, sounded phenomenal.
Cool.
So, he is a guitar god.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I hadn't
Absolutely.
seen him obviously since Lane passed. And so it's
you
been that
so
many-
you saw him with Lane?
Yeah, I saw him with
that's
Lane.
my biggest
Yeah,
regret
I
is
did
never
too.
seen Lane live.
And man,
I wish.
it was great. I just couldn't. I don't know if I could go now after seeing that. If I'd be disappointed, or if it's like
No,
going
they
to see
still sound
Journey with
good.
the Filipino guy versus the American Idol winner or whatever they.
Yeah.
But so great, but just a different kind of great.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people say that he sounds the same. He doesn't sound the same, but he sounds good in his own right as
Very
far
cool.
as William Duvall. But, they're just classic songs that probably they had any singer up there, you still got Jerry and Mike Inez and
Awesome.
Sean Kinney. It's
Yeah.
just incredible.
It's amazing you go back and listen to that, I say first album, their first commercially popular album.
Right.
But you go back and listen to it, it still sounds remarkably fresh in today's world of music.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them that just age. I mean, the old Metallica stuff, the old Motley Crue stuff, they sound dated. I go back and listen to that first album, Man in the Box and all that, and it still sounds freaking amazing. I mean, it's like, I don't know if it was just produced so well that it doesn't sound age, or...
I think part of it is they had a bit of a unique sound in and of themselves. Yeah. Even amongst their peers of their time, they sounded different even from them. And so because of that, their sound is a bit more timeless.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they might have been part of the grunge movement, but they didn't sound grunge.
No,
not at all. They happened to be in Seattle, you know. Mm-hmm. But the style of their song construction and the riffs and Lane's voice just never will be anything like it.
Right. I'll attribute that to Jerry being from Oklahoma. I think, he's from Buc-ee Depot, just south of Atoka.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah, his grandfather's down there. And he has a farm down there,
a
ranch.
Farm, the whole bit, yeah.
Huh.
If you ever watch,
that's why he always comes to Tulsa.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not a huge market, but every tour they come.
Yeah, I knew they were here.
He gets up there, he's like, it's great to be home.
Huh.
I always thought, like, whenever
he grew up in Dallas, but
because I saw him on Cribs, and I thought, they're going to go to L.A. or Seattle or whatever. And he did his house down at Atoka. Was the one that was on Cribs of all places. I was like, oh my gosh, how crazy is this? Cribs goes to Buc-ee Depot of all places.
Yeah. Here's the house. The 100 and some odd acres all around it are mine too, just so you know.
Yeah.
Those LA guys have a quarter of an acre each. This is all mine.
Those first few albums were classics, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of the production, like you said. I mean, Dave Jordan was the original producer and mixer, and then had Brendan O'Brien, and those guys are just legends and know how to make things sound good.
Well, and a lot of those same guys, they worked on other grunge bands at the time, and they were great about giving them their own sound, or making sure that they didn't all sound the same, because Pearl Jam sounded nothing like
Soundgarden or
exactly
Nirvana,
go
whatever.
On about them. It's crazy. I go back and listen to like Screaming Trees and stuff like that. They all had their own. Yeah, Mad Season was like one of my all-time favorites. Still is. I still listen to it all the time.
It's funny that Jerry's solo work is phenomenal too, and he just doesn't get the recognition on that. I mean, Degradation Trip Volume 1 and 2 is a top 10 album of all time for me. It's just it's an incredible dual CD that just covers every style from to ballad to hard rock to Alice in Chains sound to country to everything, and he just does it flawless. And
very cool.
That CD was, Robert Trujillo was on bass, and Mike Borden from Faith No More did the drums on it. It was it was a phenomenal three-piece.
That's an all-star cast.
Yeah, it was. The writing was insanely good.
So what do you think of the stick?
I like it. It is very mild, but it reminds me of old Rocky Patels that I used to smoke years ago.
Yeah.
There's a flavor profile that's just slightly different than their newer stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it is, but it's triggering that scent memory in the back of my head.
Yeah, I was thinking the same exact thing. I was like, man, this takes me back in time. I like it. And that's weird, and it could have been something either I had earlier, it could be the bourbon I'm drinking, but there was a drag there where I just had like a almost aromatic sensory overload. I was just oh wow, I wasn't expecting that. Who knows? Maybe I had rosemary left in my teeth from dinner or something. I don't know. Made steak.
Fancy. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Gotta have rosemary on beef.
Absolutely. They just go together.
Yeah.
That or on fried potatoes. Fried potatoes and rosemary are just a combination made in heaven. Producer Schultz, we're talking food again, just so you know.
I ate, so I'm good.
he every Wednesday we end up talking about food for some reason, no matter where we are or what we're doing. And he always complains because he's like, I never stop and eat dinner before I go out smoking on Wednesday nights, and yet every time we get together, we end up talking about food or restaurants or something. So,
I do it for a new podcast.
there you go.
Yeah. Producer Kev and his lack of
We have to have him fast for 24 hours, and then we talk food.
yes.
The Talking Food podcast. Or getting him on camera, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, how
He never
long-
gets on camera?
No, never.
What's wrong with you?
Maybe for the thousandth episode.
Oh, God.
I'll do it then.
Okay,
All right.
we've heard that. So
It's
our
on record.
1000th episode.
Or
he
maybe
will-
an Oktoberfest, since he'll be in full outfit.
we.
Right.
To be fair, he has been on camera, but he didn't know it, and
Oh,
it was
okay.
an opening before the show actually started, and I threw it up there anyway just to irritate him.
He's going to do a walk by at some point. We know he will.
So, how long have you been working at cigar shops? You mentioned this one and another one.
2001.
Okay.
There's a couple of years where I was out when I was working for Quick Trip, but even still there, I was one day a week at another cigar shop.
Yeah.
So-
So is it something that you felt drawn to just because of your love of cigars, or is it something that's like, it's like, hey, because you know how they say, if you like find something that you love, you'll never
Yeah.
work a day in your life. It's kind of like one of those things of, hey, if I could make music all day, every day, that's what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very much the same thing. I mean, it's anyone that hangs around a cigar shop knows that it's fun, so it's hard to not enjoy an industry like this where everyone's just family and you get to see your best friends every day.
Right.
You know.
Very cool.
What is your favorite thing about working there?
I'd say the customers. I mean, we just got a fantastic group, big group, regulars, and meeting the people from out of town. It's a lot of fun. So.
Well, not to and
He's much nicer than I would have been. I would have said the discount on cigars.
right.
Well, that does
Care
help.
less about you people. I get discounted cigars. You people are just a bonus, I guess.
Well, yeah, I not to, I don't want to downplay his role at what he does, because on top of, you don't just work there, you're an advocate for the cigar industry as well. And can you talk a little bit about some of the things you do? And
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking
When you
anything
fight
like even
legislation,
legislative, many times had to go down to the state capitol and fight anti-smoking bills, things like that, watch tax bills. So there's been several years we've all banded together and had to go fight some pretty obnoxious bills that they've tried to shove through. And
is there
fortunately, we've been successful in our lobbying efforts.
is there a organization, if you will, or an association that you guys kind of all represent, or is it just kind of?
Yes and no. I mean, there is a state organization. I would say it's not as organized as some states. We all just kind of know each other, and we all have each other's phone numbers. So when something pops up on radar, we're quick to get in touch with everyone. And Oklahoma City, Tulsa, cigar shop owners. We're a pretty tight-knit group. So that's fortunate that we can all get together and have the common goal. So
Right.
it's just every January I get on my computer and I go to the state government website and I query search smoke and cigars and tobacco, and I look through every bill that's being introduced and read through them. And
You
Pull
read more
aside.
bills than the politicians that
Yes, I
roast
do.
them.
You're already ahead
I
of them.
do, so you got to, because if you sleep, you're going to lose. And the anti-smoking crowd is much more organized and have a lot more money to spend than we do. So it's something you just have to do, and you can't wait for other people to do it. You have to be proactive on it, and that's a lot of people are too reactive in that situation, and sometimes it's too little, too late. So you have to know the politicians and stay on top of that. And then we do have a trade organization that a good chunk of the retailers in the nation are part of, called Premium Cigar Association. And they're very helpful as well. They keep an eye. They have lobbyists mainly that concentrate more on the national scale, but they can help out with the state as well. They did several years ago when we had the big anti-smoking bill going through. They flew in a lobbyist several times to help us with that. So it's good to be tight with them as well. And this year I'm on several committees for our trade organization. So yeah.
Well, we appreciate your efforts because, like I say, we're too lazy to do anything about it. So.
Well, I mean, one thing customers can do is, join the Cigar Rights of America, because they do a phenomenal job as well, dollars and manpower and hours of helping fight bills as well. So it's not just the PCA, it's them, and that's something that any consumer can join, and the money that they paid, their yearly membership or a lifetime membership, is money well used to help out. So
what is that again?
The Cigar Rights of America.
Cigar Rights of America.
Yeah.
I will try to have a link for that down in the description below if I can find it.
Producer Kev, if you'll go on and just pay our lifetime membership.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Actually, when you go to Smokelahoma, that's part of that.
Yeah.
Goes to that. So.
Oh, so I'm a member.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a member and didn't even know it. See, I'm doing so much good even without realizing it.
Yeah, Todd from ZT's down in Oklahoma City that puts on the Smokelahoma is a very, very solid partner, and he's actually on the our Premium Cigar Association executive board, so he's
Nice.
He's very well connected. So yeah, he does a great job of dedicating his time and his money to helping the fight as well on his own. So
Yeah.
I've got a lot of respect for Todd.
Well, I know there's been a lot that's been talked about over the last several years, both with the federal government and their taxation or whatever they were doing to any new sticks or changes in boxes or all of that,
Yeah.
along with the state legislation. Just for our female viewers and Dr. Bush, what's going on with the flavored cigars? 'Cause I know that was an issue for a while.
Yeah, it's still an issue. So what happened a couple months ago is the FDA, who got control of cigars back around 2000, I think it was 16 or so, the judge that we've been in a lawsuit, CRA, the PCA, for several years trying to get basically almost exempted from FDA control. And what finally happened is the judge came down and said basically the FDA ignored scientific data, they ignored all the correct statistics, they didn't weigh any kind of disruption to business. They did everything wrong. They just ignored everything. We were a low priority. They said we were their lowest priority, yet they had no organization to what they were expecting us to do,
Yeah.
which was just outrageous. And the judge actually threw it out. So, well, not threw it out, but he stripped the FDA of control of premium cigars. But the caveat is a premium cigar by definition that we were able to push through is 100% hand rolled, 100% natural leaf, long filler, not machine made, no additives. So flavored cigars are still under the doctrine of the FDA right now.
So infused, anything
Yeah, pipe
like
tobacco,
that.
anything like that. So it's something that we're still going to have to fight. And right now they're trying to get us standards of manufacturing bill passed through, which would be horrible. They're treating it kind of like the pharmaceutical, where every step from seed to finished product has to be documented and replicated exactly, which is impossible in our world.
No.
Yeah.
Because nothing is the same year after year, crop to crop.
Not
Leaf to
even
leaf.
Week to
leaf
week.
to leaf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, how long you ferment it, everything is
Yeah.
just there's not a formula that works every exact time. So there's just no way it can apply to our industry.
Right.
So
Yeah, because I know in talking to Jose Blanco and other cigar manufacturers, if they're trying to continue a line from one year to the next and they're using different years of tobacco, they have to reblend to try to maintain that same flavor profile, even from year to year or batch to batch.
yeah,
Yeah, as much as they would love to think it's cookie cutter, it's really not.
yeah, it's not cigarette tobacco. I mean, and unfortunately, and it's more just, I think, honestly, a state of ignorance on the FDA's part. They don't get it they don't want to understand it.
If they understood it, they'd be responsible for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. So, and right now they're appealing the decision that the judge came down, a month or two ago with. So we'll see what happens with the appeal. I doubt they'll win it, but again, stranger things have happened. So
we should start like a commission, cigar commission, like Scotch has in Scotland.
Oh, that would be
where
good.
You actually have knowledgeable people who understand all the processes, but also have the connectivity to the government to say, hey, no, this is why, and they can educate on a need-to-need basis for them.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea until you talk to somebody who's had to deal with the Scotch Commission.
Well,
talk to the guys from Compass Box about
John
that.
Glazer would probably have an issue with that.
Yeah,
I mean,
talk to the guys from Compass Box about how well that went for them.
But they got past it. They figured it out.
They did.
Once they got through and had and helped educate that commission on, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is why we should qualify.
Mm-hmm.
They got it done. But I mean, you do have at least a kind of a safeguard in place of people that actually know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
As opposed to just,
Well, there's definitely members of Congress that do. I mean, there's the Congressional Cigar Caucus, and a lot of people in Florida,
The Triple C.
J.C. Newman's invited people, legislators down to come and look at their factory and see what all goes into it.
Yeah.
So there's ample opportunities for them to learn about the uniqueness, just whether they're willing to do it. And I think we all know the answer to that. So,
Right.
It's,
No, they'd rather.
we just get lumped in with big tobacco, even though we're not. And
Right.
it's part of the issue.
Yeah. Well, to change subjects slightly, you mentioned you worked in cigar shops since 2001. Do you remember when you started smoking cigars? What your first cigar was?
Yeah, I think I started smoking cigars in 99 or so, 98, 99,
Okay.
99. I think my first cigar that I can remember was a brand called Cabanas. It was, I think, a Honduran cigar. It was owned by the same company that owns Monte Cristo and Romeo and Upton and those guys, so it was part of their big umbrella of cigars. I don't think they're still produced anymore, but yeah, I think it was that. I worked with a guy when I was doing audio video, and he was a cigar smoker and kind of turned me on to him, and then I started hanging around a cigar shop, and rest is history.
Well,
So-
you were meant to be a cigar smoker if you remember that it was a Honduran, because most people can barely remember what their first cigar was, much less anything about where it was from or how it was made or what kind of wrapper or filler or anything else.
It's still hard to keep track of all that, trust me.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as it was 15, 20 years ago. There wasn't near as much variety, so.
But now you have things available to you, like these books that are produced by, there's a guy named CR Parsons.
Oh, yeah.
He has a book on Amazon that is a cigar log called Cigar Journal for the Working Man. So now, see, it could be so easy. You
We
go
should
on
plug
there,
that.
You really should.
Yeah.
I think it's like $10. I don't know if he gets all the money or if it's
I
worth,
hope so.
Maybe. I mean, he probably needs it.
Jeff Bezos needs another rocket ship. So.
Right.
There you go. Another giant dick and balls.
Yeah, those books definitely help out. There used to be a book called Perlman's Pocket Encyclopedia, and that used to be kind of our Bible in the industry back before the internet. So
Yeah.
had every brand and every size listed, and it was a great resource back in the day. So yeah.
But now,
Well-
it would almost be impossible to do that because, it seems like over the last, decade or so, the amount of boutique cigar companies that have come along, and
Absolutely.
I've had some that were good and some that were not so good, and I think it would be almost impossible to keep up with.
It'd be a full-time job.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave that to the cigar media.
Yeah,
Right.
you and then you combine that with all of the major manufacturers who have all of their different lines of cigars that they try to come up with something new every once in a while, and so I can't imagine.
Or something
Going-
old that's been repackaged.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
that-
Exactly. We know that happens.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to go to one of those commercial trade shows just to see how many different lines are out there and how many people are out there and how many people are pushing these different cigars. I'm not going to ask you to name names, but have you smoked something from like a trade show that you were like, oh my God, I cannot believe somebody was willing to put their name on this?
Oh yeah.
Really?
But you also have to keep in mind that's personal taste buds. So
True.
Now there's times where it could just be maybe so under fermented and bitter, or again, just a awful flavor. But you just always have to keep in mind there's something for everyone. So just because I didn't like it doesn't mean that 75% of the general population might not enjoy it. So it's kind of the trick to bringing in new lines too, is finding stuff that people are going to like. So I'm pretty picky. So that helps, but it doesn't always help.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. It
with
helps for
boutiques. I try to make sure it's something that I like, because those are always a hand sell for a long time.
Right.
I mean, Rocky Patel could come out with another cigar. People are going to try it because it's Rocky.
Right.
True.
Just name another big brand. So
yeah.
At least there's that initial sell that's always going to happen. Whereas if it's some brand that nobody's ever heard of, they're going to look at it and walk right by it a lot of times. So unless you tell them, this is great, I love it, and they trust your taste buds. So.
Well, you get some that come out and they've got, the clever marketing behind them. I get that can only go so far. You know what I mean? It can look, that wrapper looks cool, or the box it comes in looks really cool, but at the end of the day, it pays
sometimes
if you're
it's
walking
gimmicky.
in. It's gimmicky, right?
Yeah.
And unless you're walking in and you go, oh, it caught my eye, but then they have a guy like you that they can go, hey, have you had this?
Yeah.
Is it good? Is it not? Obviously, if you're carrying it, it's something you stand behind. Not every shop's that way, I'm sure.
Yeah, good example would be Oscar Valaderos, who does very, very unique packaging that's just, it catches the eye, and some people honestly will say, is it gimmicky? They think it's gimmicky, it must not be a good cigar, and it's like, no, they're solid cigars. They just have a very open mindset to when they're coming up with the packaging, the bands, whatever, the boxes, that's just, it catches your eye, but they're solid cigars, every one of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I ran into that. I think I've mentioned it before with the Flathead series.
Mm-hmm.
I assumed, because I had some novelty cigars that weren't worth smoking, but they had a really cool packaging or really cool box or something, I had assumed that the Flatheads were just marketed to biker guys. They were not going to be that good. They were just, they're named after the motorcycle. They're named in motorcycle numbering.
Yeah.
It's so almost cliche the way it's marketed, until I tried one and I'm like, holy mackerel, this is a good cigar. And so every once in a while that can work against them if they're not careful.
Yeah. Punch recently has done that a lot with their, the Chinese themed stuff that they've done, like the Kung Pao and the things like that. But they've been very good cigars and very good price, and like the Punch Dad Bod.
The Dad Bod
one
is
in
a
the
perfect
beer can,
example. Yeah.
And it's a great little $6 smoke.
It is.
It's annoying at the same time, because sometimes they come out with these great limited editions like that. Now, whether it's due to tobacco availability, but it's like, how about come out with this full time? Because it's getting harder and harder to find good $6 cigars.
What was the one 2 years ago?
That's what I was going to say. The one 2 years ago.
The Kung Pao was
Kung
the one
Pao.
with the silver tray.
Yes.
That was
a
phenomenal.
really
That
good
was
cigar.
So good.
Yeah.
I was frustrated when
Yeah.
I could not find those anymore because
Yeah.
they were so good.
Yeah, that's a great example. So.
Well, if you had to smoke one cigar for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I don't know if I could. I get tired of it.
Would
That's
you?
why I have to switch it up. I got my favorite companies, but sometimes I got to take a break for a while, because for me, I lose the appreciation. I just get used to the flavor, and it's not as special as it used to be.
I get that.
So
So what you're saying is, if you could smoke one cigar for the rest of your life,
it'd be whatever's in my
you'd
hand.
kill yourself.
Yeah.
Just whatever's,
I mean,
whatever's available. Just hand it to him.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah.
What are your go-tos? What are your favorite cigars right now?
My go-to companies most of the time would be like Plasencia and EPC, Aladino, Foundation Cigars, Fuente, some Roma Craft, and Stallone, things like that. You know, and there's something in pretty much any company that I carry that I can grab something and enjoy it. So I think most companies have at least one solid cigar somewhere. You know, they're just kind of depends on the mood.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I say a lot of it has to do, like you say, mood. You know, the environment where you're at, time of day.
What have I eaten?
Exactly.
That's a big one.
What are you eating? What are you
Or
drinking?
what did Kevin not eat?
Right. What did he leave behind? I don't know.
I didn't eat. I got to smoke something mild.
Oh, we know he's not. I think he would definitely burn a real full-bodied stick on an empty stomach without batting an eye. Am I wrong?
Neanderthal.
There you go. Yeah.
Cro-Magnon.
Says your shirt.
Says a shirt.
You can't see him, but you know he's repping Roma Craft, which is his go-to line of cigars.
That is his.
By a long shot, I think. I think he tolerates our other sticks,
Exactly.
But
Yeah, I don't know that there is a Roma Craft cigar that has come out in the last 5 years that he doesn't have a handful in his humidor.
yeah, I've always said, you know, like for me, like you say, you can't pick one. I mean, I think I could. I think it's for me, it's always the Plasencia Almafuerte. I think that is probably my favorite cigar, hands down. Now, could I afford to smoke them for the rest of my life? That's another question. That leads to a whole different topic on finance, which we're not here to discuss. So
That is a great blend, especially that Solomon size.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a favorite. Absolute favorite.
What about you? You got anything that you could? I think we may have discussed this before, maybe once or twice, but I bet if you went back and looked,
Probably.
my answer's gonna be the same.
Yeah, my answer's liable to change just because I can't remember from day to day. Usually, I'm kind of like you. I like to smoke whatever's there. I like to smoke more than I'm picky about what I smoke, oftentimes. But if I had to pick one for the rest of forever, I'd probably have to go with the Oscar Leaf. That's just such a good cigar.
Mhm.
It's a absolute solid smoke. That Sumatra specifically, because it's light enough, it doesn't matter when in the day, doesn't matter what you've eaten, you can get away with it. Yeah, I'd
And the
probably
price
have to go
point's
with that one.
Excellent on it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it really
is.
is.
It is, and I could gather up all of the leaves that they were wrapped in and rip them up to put in my pipe, so I could smoke a pipe occasionally just to have something different.
Is that a recommended thing?
No.
Anyone here?
No,
I don't think so. I think
I don't recommend trying that.
Whatever floats their boat.
Although, you know, I may try one day just taking that leaf and ripping it up and throwing it in my pipe just to see what
I think that should be
smokes
done
like.
on camera.
I think I'll have to do that. I think I'll have to do that.
Then how about most memorable smoke as opposed to that?
Oh.
Surely there's one that just sticks out, or one or two that you just still to this day remember, man, that was perfect.
Well, my first cigar was a big deal for me because I wanted to be a cigar smoker long before I was a cigar smoker, which is kind of weird. I grew up wanting to smoke cigars in a pipe. It was just, it's kind of like the way I look now. I always wanted this look. I wanted the long beard, the long hair. I wanted to look like an old man.
Hagrid.
I did. I always have. And cigars were the same thing. I knew from an early age that I wanted to smoke cigars and smoke a pipe. And I don't think it's because I was influenced by anybody in particular. I think it was just something I was drawn to. So getting to choose my first cigar was a really big deal for me. And I will never forget it. It was an Arturo Fuente. Nowadays they call it the Princess Bee, I think it is, but it was
Queen Bee?
The Queen Bee, thank
Okay.
you. I think it had a different name back then, but it was that same size and shape in I think it was a natural wrapper instead of a Maduro, which I lean toward Maduros now. But that one in particular, I will never forget that moment in smoking that cigar. How about you, Kay?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Most memorable. I'll go ahead and give another shameless plug to my buddy Paul. He found out that me and some buddies were going to Vegas for our annual trip that we do, and originally he was going to join us, and then had to bail out last minute. So since he couldn't make it, he sent us a care package, and in there was a 50th anniversary Davidoff, I believe. And of course, on the surface, I'm like, okay, that's going to be like a medium stick. I'm probably not going to really enjoy it a whole lot, but you know what? It's the thought that counts. But sitting out there on the strip in Vegas with a nice bourbon and that stick, knowing who it came from, what the thought was behind it, probably one of the most enjoyable smokes I've ever had. And it was just a perfect day. I mean, everything about it was great. Won money at the craps table, you know. It was a total, like, ice cube. Got to say it was a good day thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no. What about you?
Tough one. Maybe a Buc-ee Millennium. Those were just a special cigar from the late 90s. So that was very unique shapes, unique blend. That Tony Borhani, the old owner, had some of the best blends ever back in the cigar boom. They went away. Now what's out that are only for catalogs is not the same cigar, not the same tobacco, but those were very, very incredible cigars. So.
I was gonna say, even the ones that are out now, though, for what they are, still a damn good little smoke. Somebody gave me one a while back, and I can't remember if it was like an orange wrapper or a blue one or something.
It was the blue wrapper. It was one of our buddies from over Skytook way.
But man,
not Chris.
wasn't even familiar with the name, to be honest, because I don't
yeah,
dabble
like
in
I said,
cigar catalogs and stuff. But that was just it was a great little smoke, and I was like, huh.
He was one of the first, I would say, back in the 90s. Maybe I wouldn't say super premium, but I mean they were up there, but they were one of the first blends, I'd say, to come out of Costa Rica, with a very famous guy, Don Douglas, that used to make cigars, and just phenomenal smokes. And I think about the mid 2000s he kind of got out of the industry, and I think just sold off the name. So yeah, but there for a while he was definitely, if you're talking the best cigars in the 90s, him and Padron and Fuente were really the top tier back then. So he was really I would say the first big boutique company.
Okay.
So
very cool.
I'll tell you another one that stands out for me, though, was the first time I ever had an Opus X.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the reason it stands out was because it was the early 90s when there was the big cigar boom, and I was talking to people on not bulletin boards, but almost bulletin board style chat rooms on the internet. And so I was talking to people from all over the country. We were all talking cigars, and we had Ted's here down at Utica Square. And I guess Ted's had been around long enough that he got his hands on anything he wanted to get his hands on. And so I'm chatting with somebody, and they're like, there's no way you've got Opus X's at your shop. I'm like, yeah, I picked up one today, and there's a box sitting on the shelf. There's no way there's a box on the shelf. I've been trying to get those for 6 months, and nobody has them. Of course, I'm talking to somebody in New York or LA or somewhere like that. And so people were freaking out and going, hey, if you can get those for me, ship them to me, and I'll send you, And of course, I didn't want to do that. So I remember lighting that one up. And part of the reason it was such a great cigar was just knowing that I have in my hand something.
Everybody
I know millionaires who have not gotten their hands on this, and yet I have it right here.
Yeah. Back in the 90s, they weren't really much available west of the Mississippi. Was kind of the old thing. So, yeah, they were very few and far between. Still are to an extent, but.
Yeah, the guy at Ted's once told me that I didn't need to smoke cigars or smoke a pipe. I just needed a pacifier. He was like, "What do you like?" I'm like, "Anything, all of it. I like all of it."
Sounds like a Chuck.
Probably.
Probably was.
Probably. Well, KP, what you got coming up? Anything exciting?
Yeah. Depending on when this comes out, which I think time-wise it should make it. We've got Oktoberfest coming up October 17th through the 22nd.
Yes, we do.
For the people that are in the know or maybe don't, the 17th is a ticketed-only event. It's a $100 ticket, but it's a true Bavarian-style Oktoberfest experience. We're going to have, I can't remember how many tables and how many tickets are available.
I don't remember.
But it's a sit down at a table, waitress or wait staff served meal, your beer, food's all included. You get a taste of all the bands. We brought in all these new tables.
You get to eat the bands?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you get a taste of bands, literally. They'll let you come by and lick their arm, whatever. But they do serve a big meal. It's always...
Alex Meissner tastes like salt.
Right.
Anybody who dances around as much as he does has to taste like salt.
But yeah, that's one of my favorite new events that we've got at Oktoberfest. And then you and I will be there, and producer Kev will be there, every day, all day, every day, making sure that this thing goes off and has fun for everyone. And if you're over in the VIP area, even though you may not know what he looks like, go find Kevin.
Yeah.
Start asking around. Somebody will introduce you to him. But he runs all the VIP stuff, so he'll be over there hanging out. And if you find us, we'll be smoking cigars around outside of the tents. But yeah, we'll be out there hanging out.
We'll be everywhere.
We're playing at Oktoberfest. Our band's playing on Friday the 20th. And yeah, I know you like how I'm.
20th?
Yeah, it's a question. There's a question mark on the teleprompter. Sorry. Yeah, you stay classy, San Diego. So we're gonna be playing from like 11 to 3:30, 3 o'clock, somewhere in there. I think we get cut off a little early because the band changeover, but the band will be playing, hanging out, and I'm just really looking forward to that. And
it's always a blast. Always a good time.
Don't know when this one's coming out. This is probably not going to get out before the weekend, right? Because I've got
probably not before next weekend.
Yeah, so yeah.
It'll probably come out on the 16th.
I've got 4 shows I'll tell you about once that's all done.
Yeah.
Are you gonna play Freebird at
I will probably play some bird songs.
Oh, okay.
But I usually charge for them, so it's not free.
They're expensive bird songs.
They're expensive.
They're expensive bird songs.
What about you?
I'll be doing Oktoberfest, same as you. Just got through a good weekend at the Looney Bin, so I think that's the only comedy I have on the calendar until the end of the month, because of Oktoberfest, because it takes up so much of the time. But that's kind of the big thing. I always say October is one of those months that when October 1st hits, I might as well mark my calendar off until November 1, because October is always so packed with stuff. So it's always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Always a lot of fun. And if you're not from this area and you don't know about Tulsa's Oktoberfest, we were recently listed as number 2 in the nation, second only to Cincinnati.
Yeah, and I can't, for the life of me, cannot remember what poll that was.
Home and Garden, home something.
Give me a line.
Yeah, National News and World Report or somebody like that had us at number 5.
Yeah, so USA Today had us at 4, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So obviously, it's a big one.
It is. It is a great big one. And I'm sure I'll have some pictures and some video from that, and we may even try to do an episode out there if we can.
I want us to
skate away and find some time and get where we aren't going to have music that's going to get us copyright strike. We always have to worry about that.
We'll be fine. Yeah, who needs to worry about that kind of stuff? What about you? You got anything going on that you want to tell people about, or
any concerts coming up you're going to?
Not till December. So got one left for the year.
Who are you going to see?
It'd be Catatonia, a little Swedish gothy doom metal. something
See,
like that.
That's the thing I love about talking to Jeff about music, is he knows a lot of the music that I know, but then when I start asking him about his music, he lists off these bands that I have never heard of. I don't know that anybody has ever heard of, and I'm convinced 3 people show up. It's you and the 2 girls dating the guitar player.
Oh.
It's funny because when he said that, my mind immediately went back to whenever I was playing hockey all the time. I had these 2 Swedish guys that played on my team, and every time we would like have this discussion of, I think it's time to freshen it up. Let's change the name of the team, and they'd be like, let's change it to Valhalla, or let's change it to Catatonia, or whatever. He's like, it's all these like Swedish death metal sounding names. I wish I would have wrote all those down, because I'm sure some of them have to be.
Oh,
that.
I'm sure.
I'm sure.
It's a big metal paradise over there in Scandinavia. Best in the world.
Oh. Well, are you online anywhere you want to share with folks? Anything you want to shout out?
You can follow my stupidity on Facebook, but
give it to them.
I guess it would be under my name.
Yeah.
Jeff Greiner. Or follow us on Classic Cigars and Lounge. I'm always doing my famous duck clips, posting with cigars.
There you go.
Giving reps a hard time. Photoshopping faces on things.
Oh, yeah.
Bashing Buc-ee's or Whataburger.
Yep.
Taco
Can't
Bueno or
believe you
whoever.
bash Whataburger.
Texas barbecue, all of it.
But if you are, whether you're in the Tulsa area or not, if you ever happen to be in this area, I highly encourage you, go down to Classic Cigars, hang out with Jeff, and talk cigars with him, because I think you'll be really impressed at his knowledge and just your ability to figure out what a person likes. Because I know anytime I walk in there, if I'm in one of those moods where I just have no clue what the hell it is I want to smoke, he'll immediately go, well, I know what you like.
Right.
This is something you should probably try. And like I say, every time you hit it out of the park. And that's a skill that most people don't have.
Well, thank you.
So,
Well, KP, where can they find you?
at KP Troubadour on all the social medias. Especially if you follow this weekend, you'd see that OU won over Texas. I had to make sure I threw that out there, because I spent all weekend down there having a great time. If you want to follow our band, at Kevin Price Band. Again, that's for our music stuff. What about you?
CR Parsons Comedy or CR Parsons Comedian on all the social medias. You can message me at thesmokeyguys@gmail.com. You can message us. Let us know what you want to see on this podcast. If there's a particular cigar you want us to review, you want us to take a look at, if there's a particular shop somewhere that you like, let us know. We travel a good bit, and so we're always looking for great shops to stop at and go in and visit. So do that. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the little bell wherever it is. I always love the guys who know exactly where they're pointing.
We have no clue.
I'm not that guy. Oh, well, I guess that's about it.
Yeah.
It's been a good night. The weather's changing around here, so we actually have on sleeves tonight. Although you guys are still in shorts.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
You're in shorts year-round, though, aren't you?
Yeah.
My legs don't get cold, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
As long as the nipples are warm, my body's
Right,
cool,
exactly.
Well, on that note, thank you guys for joining us, and until next time, stay smoky.
Boomer sooner.